These are build tips for the May 2021 Build of the Month, Red Rot Ruin. We're going to look at a couple of Burrows pieces, and then we're going to go in depth with these Ruins pieces. So we have a couple of Burrows bits in here that are kind of clever. So this floor is our Burrows insert floor, and the point of it is to let you take any of your insert pieces and put them in line with the floor, whatnot. What's beautiful about it is, even though it's sculpted on the sides to be a dungeon piece, it works anywhere because the dirt covers anything. You can put this in line with your caverns, you can put it in line with your forest floors, you can put it in your dungeon, you can put it anywhere you want to pop in any of your insert pieces. So you can use it if you want to have it reveal there's a trap there, or you can do, in this build of the month, we're doing the gag where when the players get close, this bursts open and ants come out. If you have our texture patches, you can take, like, this is the bottomless abyss texture patch, you put that under there and it can become a tunnel down into your catacombs or your dungeon or your cavern or whatever. Or you can use it, if you've got some other texture patches, you can use it as like a pool of something. You can print something out on your computer and put it under there. So wonderfully versatile little piece that I use a bunch. Then we have over here, this was a viewer suggestion when we were doing our building of the build of the month. These are two end caps for our burrows that come with the set that don't really work with the rest of these ruins. However, we just popped out, using pliers, popped out this one peg over here, leave an empty hole, and then I could stick these together, and we made this like creepy organic altar piece for our lost temple. So it turns out there's often clever little things you can do with our pieces that people are discovering all the time. So let's look at our ruins pieces now. So our general ruins pieces are designed to work with both our dungeon ledges pieces, these things, and our intact dungeon pieces, these things. So in general, if you just build with the ruins, it tends to be like super ruined ruins. However, if you combine them with some intact dungeons, you can have some solid bits like we have in our build here. We've got some solid bits that then peter out into ruined areas. So it lets you get a little more expanse and also build sort of more interesting shapes. Our ruin set has a lot of like kind of loose fiddly bits, right? These breakaway pieces, this sort of thing, this sort of thing, this sort of thing. And what's fun is it lets you make things feel really organic by scattering these around in a bunch of ways, right? You can use this as a wall. You can tip it over as a fallen wall. You could put it at the water. You could put it on the edge of a ledge. You can use it to make a corner. There's a variety of ways you can use any of these sort of loose pieces. Like in this case over here, I've actually taken this bit and I've flipped it upside down and used it to sort of have this wall break away more naturally. Rather than having a clean break, it kind of feels like it's more ruined. You can scatter them around on the floor to make difficult terrain. And then, of course, the really fun bit you can do is you can take both of these fit perfectly on the corner piece. So you could have the corner piece be intact, and then maybe a giant punches through and smashes it out, or an explosion goes off, or someone gets like thrown through the wall and it can break away, or it's a trap, it could crumble down, it's really unstable and they crumble down. But often people won't even notice that this isn't a regular corner if these are built in line and intact. So these lots of little crumbly bits you can sort of throw wherever you want to break up your build. Similarly, the floor has this little cover piece which you can use to hide stuff, so it has a fun nook under there. You can hide some treasure or whatnot. You can have it built in line as a mound, or you can just use this on its own and put this anywhere else to scatter up some, often if you put rubble up against the wall, it looks like the whole thing has collapsed and built out. So lots of sort of fun little fiddly pieces you can put all around to really kind of ruin up your build. So the ruins also play really nicely with this big dungeon wall piece that has a hole in it. Right, so this was designed to look like it was either excavated or maybe a monster burst through, but also you throw some ruins around it and suddenly it feels like it's just yet another ruined piece of whatever was once there. And finally, the ruins work really well with these ledges pieces, right? So we have all over the place, we have these ledges down, and this is a great example of a negative space build, right, where we have terrain somewhere and then we have a lot of negative space where there isn't terrain to expose our terrain trays, and that gives us an interesting hazard. In this case, it's like leech-filled water. But it lets you cover more table space with less terrain, and also have some interesting striking stuff, right? You could put lava or acid or water, whatever you want, in the negative space. And these these ledges are fantastic for that, right? If you want to have a sort of a river pouring through your thing, you can line these ledges and sort of build it out. If you want to make a pit, if you want to make a crumbling wall, whatever. They're double-sided, so you can the things feel more organic. So if you have to repeat the same piece twice in a row, you can flip them alternating so they feel more organic. And then pieces, particularly this ruined out floor, they work really nicely. Like they're designed to complement the ruins where everything is sort of crumbled and broken. So in this case, like we're using them to just there's no sort of just clean flat floor generally. Everything is broken and littered with rubble and falling off. Finally, one little known fact about our ledge pieces is they were designed to have the same footprint as our Aranthor Mountain cliff pieces. So this is an Aranthor Mountain cliff piece. This is a ledge. They match, which means if you need to elevate your cliffs, these are 38 millimeters high. If you want to get up to the same height as a wall, you can pop the ledges underneath, and now you're up at the same height as a regular wall. Often useful. Or you can also do something like this. So this, I've taken a bunch of Aranthor cliff pieces, right down there, and I put the ruins ledges on top to create this crumbled old dungeon here on the edge of a cliff, right? It's crumbling down into lava. So we've got negative space out here dropping off, and this just precarious cliff. And these line up super nice, right? All the ledges line up with the Aranthor cliff, so you can actually kind of follow the same contour and have this crumbled thing collapsing into whatever you want. So lots of fun bits you can do with these ledges, particularly playing very nicely with our Aranthor cliffs. I hope these tips inspire you. Happy building!